everybody. How you doing this morning? This is Mike of the Navigator Advanced Prophetic Ministry out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And today I want to read something that was given to me by the Spirit of God yesterday. I got inspired when I was looking at a lot of the postings about what's going on in the political world right now with the elections and everything, and the clear difference between the Patriot platform and the Marxist platform to overtake America. And so today I want to talk about, number one, the Marxist plan to overthrow America. Then I want to go into the Democratic Party platform, and then I want to show you the Republican Party platform and compare the two. So you can see this right here. This is what I'm going to be talking about. This is what I put together for yesterday. Okay, I'm going to get it a little bit closer. The Marxist, Communist, Fascist, Democratic Party platform, and then there is the Republican Party platform for a constitutional republic. Okay, but it starts with this right here: the Marxist plan to overthrow America. Okay, and all free market, democratic, capitalist, Christian nations. Okay, so this came from an article or a book by Karl Marx himself. It's called Karl Marx's 45-point strategy for overthrowing all free nations, including Christian nations. So I'm only going to include 12 of them, and that's all we really need. So I'm going to begin by reading this, and then at the bottom you're going to see, where does Trump fit into this? Okay, where does Trump fit into this? Because Trump is different. Trump is unique. He's not like any other presidential candidate. They were all politicians, and Donald Trump was chosen because he was not a politician, because he was first an American patriot. Then he was a businessman that was successful, that knew how to balance a budget. Okay, that's what he was really for. And he also did not like, he had a strong distaste for Marxism and communism and fascism. So that's what I'm going to just be discussing here. So this is the Marxist plan for the overthrow of America and all free market, democratic, capitalist Christian nations. Okay, this research is compiled by me, Mike Killian, Charlotte, North Carolina. Number one, the first priority on the list of Marxists when they infiltrate a country to take it over, which they've been doing ever since early 1900s, is got to use my glasses here now. The first priority is to infiltrate American society on all levels: national, state, and local governments, and courts of law, and all government agencies and commissions. Okay, this they have done. Second priority is to infiltrate and take over all electronic and print media. Okay, the media, that's what Hitler did in Germany. He took over the media, and he used that as his platform. Fill the media reports with all negative stories demonstrating the decline in morals in America. Show Americans that America is in decline and falling. Okay, that they have done. All right, people that basically have a negative take on the world, that the world is a bad place and they want to escape this place. That's not my point of view, as far as I'm concerned. Wherever I put my foot and whatever I put my hand to, I take dominion in the name of the Father, and I can create heaven right here on earth. And as far as I'm concerned, the nation is not going to decline. There's no place for America's fall. But if Christians continue to buy into the negative media uh, diatribe, then we could be taken over. Okay. Third priority is infiltrate the colleges and universities and dumb down the curriculums, and avoid teaching the true history of Christianity and the nations. Okay. You look at the idea of NASA. The word NASA means to deceive, and the whole idea that they faked a lunar landing, and there are whistleblowers within NASA and the American space program that are coming out now and saying it never happened. It never happened. It never happened. Okay. Number 4. This is very interesting right here. Infiltrate the seminaries and churches and dumb down the people by teaching the elementary doctrines over and over again, so that the people begin to think there is nothing new under the sun. In other words, God is not continuing to reveal. Make people think that the only thing that what they get in church on Sunday morning is all there is. Okay? Because that man in the pulpit represents God. And if he represents God, he should be bringing fresh and new things every Sunday morning as revelations from God as he increases in his understanding. But that's not what's happening in most churches. Most churches, you get the same message every Sunday, and that's a dumbing down process. Okay? Okay, now, where was I? Tell them that all they need to know is in just 66 books. Okay? People are defending the idea that God's only inspired message to us is just captured within 66 books. And that's not absolutely true. God continues to reveal himself. And that's why God raises up prophets and apostles, such as myself. He reveals new things, new manna in this day of the 8th Great Awakening. And he wants it delivered to his people. But that if you're not going to find this stuff in church. Okay, you're not going to find the ongoing enlightenment in church. The 5th priority is to fill the newspapers and newscasts with fake news and propaganda. That's true. I keep telling people, turn off your TV. The only thing good that you can find on TV is maybe the ball scores and the weather report. Okay, that's about it. They're pretty good at predicting the weather. Okay, and telling you what happened, on the football field or the basketball court. Okay, number 6, take the United States currency off of the gold standard, creating a worthless monetary system. This will drive up inflation. Now, that happened in 1971 with President Nixon, who was a puppet of the Rothschild and Rockefeller banking situation. The banks and the military and industrial complex are all hooked together to devaluate the dollar and make you and I slaves. And they've done that through inflation and taxation. Number 7, the 7th priority is drive up interest rates, which will also drive up inflation and the cost of living, so that most families will decide the wives have to go to work outside the home, which will make families depend on the public school system to raise their children. And it's interesting how Christian parents want to raise their kids as Christians, and then they're surprised when they send their kids off to the public school, Caesar's school, Nero's school, Marxist schools, and then their kids come home acting like Romans. Okay? We send our Christian children to college, for their freshman year, and they go off to college, and we think that they're doing good and that they're following the right path. But by the time June comes, by the end of their freshman year, they have been talked out of Christianity. Okay, because there's so much going on a college campus that is attacking the Christian doctrine, the Christian truth. And so we send our kids to the Caesar schools, and then we wonder why our kids come back acting like Romans rather than Christians. Okay. The eighth priority is take the 10 Commandments and prayer out of the schools, make the schools secular and amoral, meaning don't teach religion or morals in the schools. Okay, so when the kids get to the school, they say that there's no constraints on what they do, and they start acting like a bunch of hoodlums. Okay. The ninth priority, make it law that a license or certification be issued by the government to do almost anything commercial. Load the people down with license fees and fees of any kind. It's not just commercial activity. I have to have a license to have a boat. I have to have a license to go fishing, a license to go hunting. What else can you think of? A license to have a jet ski, a pistol, you can think of a bunch of other things that you have to have a license for. And that's not the government's. I mean, that's what the government has made you pay fees and certification fees for almost everything in your life, and then you think that you're free. Okay, you're not free. They're making money off of you in over 30 different ways. Okay. The 10th priority, gradually increase taxes slow enough where the people don't notice. Number 11, make the American dream of home ownership increasingly more difficult to realize, so they will have to live on top of each other in apartments. Yep, that's what they want to do. They want to create 15-minute cities. They want to put everybody together and bunch them together. I see it here in Charlotte. I see it where they're building high-rise apartments and packing them all in towards the inner city, on the train lines and on the bus lines, so that you don't have to have a car, and everything that you need, grocery stores, and that's where they put all the professional sports. Okay, I remember when I moved to Charlotte 26 years ago, the Charlotte Hornets had their arena not in the downtown area. It was out more towards the suburbs, towards the edge of town. And they had nice parking lots all around it where you could drive up and attend the game. Now they have moved it downtown where you can't even find parking. And you have to go there on a train or Uber or a taxi or find a parking deck. Okay, that's what they want to do with you. Okay, so they're making home ownership very expensive, and a 30 or 35-year mortgage, no, who wants to sign up for that anymore? It's easier to just pay rent. Okay, now the 12th priority is, with all of the false news and advertising, people will distrust their governments and not be sure what is true and what is not. Now, this is not a complete list. There are actually 45 different strategies that Karl Marx used in his Communist Manifesto. And I tell you now, Marx was successful. The Marxist infiltrators that have now infiltrated every aspect of the American society, okay, have been successful. We have been taken over, and the fact that they control all the elections. Okay, so we have to rise up now. This is a part of the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is the great unveiling of evil amongst us. Thanks to people like me and hundreds of thousands of other people like me getting on here and telling on the internet the truth about what's going on. So we are not a republic anymore. We stopped being a republic in 1871 with the Organic Act of 1871. You might want to Google that and see what actually happened. The Congress at that time had been infiltrated by the British, people loyal to the British Crown and the Vatican, and they put us not as a republic anymore, but as a corporation, which means a business, which means we're not under the Constitution anymore. We are under business law as outlined by the British system. So we became a British outpost in 1871. You might want to read that. We are a corporation, and you and I are employees. This is not an opinion. This is provable. Okay? Now, let me go and tell you what the Democratic Party platform is. It's the Marxist, Communist, Fascist Democratic Party platform. When the Marxists and Communists and Fascists and Chinese Communists were planning out their strategy to take over America, which began in about the late 1800s, they decided which political party are we going to choose to work through and unify under, and they chose the Democratic Party. First of all, they took over the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is the party of the Ku Klux Klan. They are the party of slavery. They are the party of the LGBT. They are the party of high taxation. And you're going to hear about that right here. I've got 11 points on their platform. So under the Democratic Party platform, they, through their economic policies, they want open borders and a free pass for criminals and terrorists. Chinese military in plain clothes settling in every major city, and that is over 22 million people right now. Okay, they want, through their economic policies, gas at $3.78 per gallon. How much did we pay under Donald Trump? I remember paying $1.78 because of other things which you will hear about right here. And one is that the Democratic Party shut down drilling in the United States and made us dependent upon other people, other nations. So now, instead of being energy independent, we are now dependent, and we have to buy our gasoline or oil from other nations because Biden shut it down. So that is the Democratic Party belief system. That's what they want. And what are they doing by doing that is they're milking you. They're milking you for everything they can get. Okay? So you get, with the Democratic Party platform, you get $3.78 per gallon gasoline. You get open borders where illegals are pouring across the border. You get increased taxes for more military aid to Ukraine and Zionist Israel. Both of those nations are hubs for trafficking and money laundering and organized crime. It's a fact that after World War II, many of the Nazis evacuated Germany and went to Ukraine. And the army of the Ukraine is actually Nazis. Okay, Number 4, a woman's right to kill her child even after birth. This is what the Democratic Party wants. Okay? The women want the right to murder their child even after it is born. This is crazy, isn't it? You can't make this stuff up. Number 5, printing more money when you can't cover your spending. It's okay to let national debt continue to rise and increase taxes on the American people. So that's what they want. There's tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and print and spend, tax and print and spend. 6, creating sanctuary cities to offer refuge to illegal immigrants, then feed them and clothe them and house them and put them on food stamps and Social Security, all on your taxpayer dollars. And then they just keep increasing taxes so that you have to pay more, and that's who you're supporting. You're also supporting Ukraine, and you're supporting Zionist Israel, which is another fascist state. It's a Marxist state. The people of Israel do not like their leadership. They want to have, in fact, I've seen things on the internet where Netanyahu has been arrested, okay, because the people know him as a war criminal, and the International Criminal Court has recognized Israel, the Zionist leadership, that is, not the people, as war criminals. The Democratic Party also wants to allow satanic worship services on American soil that includes child sacrifice. How wonderful is that? Oh, I forgot. I need to identify who I'm standing for, okay? I got this yesterday. Number 8, they unleash various viruses into society, then provide untested vaccines laced with snake venom and the mRNA proteins. Okay? How's that for the wonderful Democratic Party that wants to do everything for their voters? Number 9, they are in favor of releasing chemtrails into the air containing nanoparticulates inhaled by humans. Nanoparticulates, it means like powdered aluminum, powdered toxins that you breathe in, and then it attaches to your brain, and then you become an electrified antenna. Okay, it attaches to your organs, and then they can manipulate that from satellites and make you feel different ways and think different ways. That's what they're all about. Number 9, they like to release chemtrails into the air. Number 10, promote candidates that don't know the difference between a man or a woman. Okay, you remember that Supreme Court candidate that got approved to be on the Supreme Court? The black woman, that she was asked what the definition of a woman was or a man, and she could not come up with a definition. Okay? She was made to look a fool, and yet she was accepted on the Supreme Court. And this person is making decisions for the American people. Okay, number 11, they want to shut down drilling in America to make the U.S. dependent on other nations for energy. Okay, now this is just 11 of the 45 points. All right, now let's talk about the Republican Party platform for a constitutional republic. Under the administration of Donald Trump in the first administration, we paid $1.78 per gallon of gasoline. And that was because of the drilling policies. We drilled for oil. We became independent. instead of buying from Venezuela or from China or anybody else, we purchased from our own companies. That brought that cut the price of gas in half. Um, under the under the Republican Party, constitutional republic, we will finish the border walls, make people enter legally like others have, and deport all criminals and terrorists, drug and human traffickers. Human traffickers. They kidnap humans, especially children, so that they can use them in their satanic worship services, drink their blood, eat their flesh, sacrifice them to Satan. Also, use their organs. They harvest their organs for sale in the black market, and then they enslave these women for sex, or to work in businesses, sweatshops, in different places of the earth. And this is what Donald Trump and his military is hunting these people down and breaking this up. And this has been going on ever since 2017. Under the Republican Party, abortions will be banned, except in dangerous cases, which is taken up by the woman and the doctor. Okay. Under the Republicans, we will stop printing fake money and increasing the national debt. We will get back to sound money backed by gold and silver, and then that debt will start to come down. We will not be printing new money. In fact, the old United States dollar, which is not based on gold and silver, is going out the door. It's going to be replaced by a gold-backed currency called the United States Treasury note. Okay, and that's going to happen when Donald Trump comes to office. Okay. Number 6, there will be no sanctuary cities that illegals can hide in. No money given to them at all. They will be deported. Okay, you can look this up on the internet. Okay. Number 7, worshiping Satan will be illegal. All occult statues and imagery and buildings will be replaced, such as the Capitol domes that you see in different cities. Those actually represent the wombs of ISIS. And the obelisks that you see, like the Washington Monument, that is an occult symbol. It's called the penis of Ra. And if you look at Washington from a certain angle, and you see the Washington Monument here, and then just beyond it, you see the Capitol Dome. And that Capitol Dome represents the womb of ISIS. Okay? So basically, it's a sex symbol. And the Vatican City is laid out the same way. Isn't that interesting? And it's also in England. All right? So many of our buildings have satanic imagery on them, and they are temples to Lucifer. Those buildings must come down. Okay? There will be no more man-made viruses or vaccines that will be released by our government. And that's who it was. The government released these things. All right? There will be no chemtrails that will be sprayed into the air. Okay? That's number 9. Oil drilling will resume and we will be energy independent again. That's number 10. Number 11, the Green New Deal scam will be exposed and abandoned. Number 12, the fiat US dollar will be replaced by the gold-backed US Treasury note and by Bitcoin. Number 13, the Federal Reserve will be disbanded. It's not even a organization of the federal government, so it's a separate entity. And the United States Treasury will take control. Okay. Number 14, and lastly, organized crime organizations will and are being infiltrated and brought down. Their wealth will be seized and applied to the humanitarian aid to help the poor. If you want this, vote Republican. If you want the opposite of that, okay? If you want $1.78 a gallon gas, then vote Republican. If you want to pay through the nose, if you want to be fleeced, then then vote Democrat. So where does Donald Trump come in on all of this? Donald Trump is an American first patriot and free market capitalist under a constitutional republic, not a democracy. America has been falsely called that. We are a republic. The Marxists wanted to make us into a communist dictatorship. Karl Marx and his people succeeded. Donald Trump reversed that, or began the reversal, in his first term. And the symbol for that is $1.78 gasoline. Okay? Donald Trump wants to defeat the deep state communist criminal organizations, especially those involved in human trafficking in women and children and body organs and drugs, which our own corrupt government is involved in. This is the swamp that he has promised to drain, and criminal courts, military tribunals have been set up at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and on Guam, and in 3 other places in the world. Other nations are arresting these organized criminals and bringing them to a military tribunal, because and not a criminal court with a jury, because they are war criminals and they are being treated like war criminals and tried like war criminals. It's faster. It's not left up to opinion or how well a lawyer can talk somebody, a jury, into like the O.J. Simpson trial. Slick lawyers swayed a jury, and the murderer got off. Okay, so it's not going to be like that. We are under Donald Trump and his military, which is about 1.5 million soldiers right now under that have sworn loyalty to Donald Trump. They are draining the swamp and have been ever since 2017. Okay, Donald Trump was and is still dismantling the deep state and the strategic plans as listed above. Proof is available. Vote Trump in November if you want to return to holiness, righteousness, and fiscal responsibility. That is my message for today. Thank you for listening. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and help me build this channel. I can't do it without you, so I'm looking forward to your support. Thank you so much for joining me.